Here we are once again, Cannabis News with Joe Klare. It is February 8th, 2019. Presented as always by the Marijuana Times. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab there to find this show. A bunch of great articles there as well. Go check it out. Simply search the Marijuana Times on the old Google or whether the search engine you use. Maybe it's Bing. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You will find it if you search for it, or if you just go to marijuanatimes.org. Like I said, if you don't like the whole search thing, you just want the address. Bam. 2 ways to get to the same place. It's really, technologies is just an amazing thing. Today we're talking about the gateway theory and the exit theory when it comes to cannabis. Also, S420 filed in the Senate and a week of activism down the capital of Kentucky. We'll talk about all of that coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Go check them out. If you're a grower in a state where it is legal, you want to be regulatory compliant, and you do not want to use banned pesticides. No matter what you're growing, you don't want to use harmful chemicals on it, so you need Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Side is spelled C-I-D-E. Go check them out. They're an awesome sponsor of us, and they're awesome in general as well. Many, many reasons to go check them out. Natureside, this first story by Julia Granowitz at marijuanatimes.org. Disproving the gateway drug theory. Could cannabis be an exit drug? Of course, many of us know the gateway theory. The marijuana leads to harder drugs and more dangerous substances. However, in the last decade, we've seen more and more evidence that this is far from the truth. In fact, we have learned that instead of leading to the use of harder drugs, cannabis may help people reduce their use and reliance on other substances, Julie writes. Yet another study has emerged that suggests that we should be looking closer at the exit drug theory. A team of researchers from Canada and the United States surveyed over 2,000 federally registered medical cannabis patients in Canada, where the plant has been legal for medical purposes for almost 20 years. The survey asked patients their use of both cannabis and numerous other substances. 70% of respondents say they substitute cannabis for prescription medications, most specifically opioids. 45% said they substitute cannabis for alcohol, and 31% said they use marijuana in place of tobacco. So it's very, we've talked a lot about the gateway theory and how it's been disproven over and over again, and I've written many, many times about it, and I can't say that it's dead and gone because it still floats out there, but it's been beaten to a bloody pulp pretty much at this point. But Julia's right. The exit drug theory, the exit drug effect, whatever you want to call it, is something very interesting to look into. I know people who have gotten off prescription medications and opioids with the use of cannabis. There are many, many studies to attest to this phenomenon or effect, or again, whatever you want to call it. So it'll be interesting to keep looking at in the future. And I keep smacking down the gateway theory. There's plenty of information on Google if you need it. But just put gateway theory, marijuana gateway theory, whatever, in Google. You'll find it. This next story from Forbes.com. Senator files 420 marijuana bill to legalize it federally for the second time so far this year. Marijuana legislation in Congress has been officially designated with the bill number 420. This is according to Tom Angel over at Forbes. It seems to be an obvious nod to the increasingly mainstream cannabis culture from lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Senator Ron Wyden, who is a Democrat from Oregon, his proposal was S420. It would deschedule marijuana by removing it from the Controlled Substances Act. It would establish a federal excise tax on legal sales and create a system of permits for businesses to engage in cannabis commerce, basically federal legalization. Marijuana enthusiasts, of course, like 420, who celebrate April 20th. S420 may get some laughs, but what matters most is that it will get people talking about the serious need to end failed prohibition, Wyden said in an email statement, which is absolutely true. However far that the using the number 420 goes toward getting press, getting awareness, getting people looking at this and knowing that it's something that they need to support and something they need to make their voice heard on, that's great. But no matter what number any of these are, they all equally need to be passed to be effective. The numbers are great and it's a great thing. You get exposure. All that's fantastic. But it doesn't change the fact that whatever number it is, it needs to get through committees in the House, get to the House floor, pass there, somehow make it through the Senate to get to the president's desk. And that may not be an easy road to climb. Tom, in this article, it's linked in the description of this video, of course, as are all stories I talks about other instances in which number 420 has been used for marijuana legislation. Go check that out. It's great. Whatever. I'm all for getting the word out there and using it being S420. I guarantee you. I mean, I couldn't quantify it. It got it much more coverage than it would have. It would have just been, Senate Bill 517. Now, the 420 itself makes it a story, which gets the bill itself in front of more people. So in that way, obviously, it's more than a gimmick. It's a very useful tool for the information sharing age. There you go. I knew I'd come to it. I am a professional broadcaster. You believe that? Of course you do. This last story is from WKYT.com. Advocates keep pushing Kentucky lawmakers to pass medical marijuana. Basically, all week, advocates from various groups like Kentuckians for Medical Marijuana and Kentucky NORML were in Frankfort, Kentucky, pushing lawmakers on several bills, including HB 136, which is a medical cannabis bill in the House. Also, SB 80 is a responsible adult use recreational marijuana bill. A decriminalization of possession bill is SB 82. And SB 83 is Shauna's law establishing workplace protections for public employees using industrial hemp products. All of that is before lawmakers in Frankfort this year. Community forum Tuesday evening at the Plantory in Lexington. Advocates with Kentucky NORML explained and answered questions about their efforts to push for medical marijuana, their top priority. The executive director of Kentucky NORML, Matthew Bratcher, said, quote, we're 20-some years behind on medical marijuana. California was 20-some odd years ago, of course. Prop 215 passed in California in 1996. He continues, we've got a lot of ground to make up. We've got a lot to do. We've got a lot of sick and suffering patients in this state. We've got children that need help. We've got veterans that need access to get off opioids. So the push is on in Kentucky. We've talked about it several times. I broadcast this show from Kentucky, from the northern part of Kentucky near Cincinnati. It's something that's been talked about many times for several years, and this year seems like it's. I'm not going to go on a limb and say it's something that could become a reality this year in Kentucky, but it definitely has the potential to go farther than it has. The Secretary of State, Allison Lundgren, was on board last year. I really haven't seen much about her from her this year on the issue, but I assume she's still supportive. There's a lot of supportive people on both sides of the aisle in the Kentucky legislature. So we'll see how things go there. We'll continue to keep you updated on that story, all the other stories, all the stories we can bring you. We're here 5 days a week on Cannabis News. That's the end of another week. Go enjoy your weekend. Keep sharing, liking, commenting on the videos. Thank you to NatureSide, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Go check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Search the Marijuana Times on YouTube and find us on there. Hit the little notification bell so you know when a new episode of Cannabis News drops, because you wouldn't want to miss any of this, now would you? Thanks for watching and listening today and all this week. We'll see you next week right here on Cannabis News.